This is the Anything But Banker to Broker podcast. We're going to be talking to some of the industry's best and brightest about the unique pathways they took before stepping into broking and how it set them up for success. Thanks for listening. All right, joining me today, we've got Azem Ozcagli. He's one of the three founders of OVM, and he's here to share his story. So thanks for jumping on, mate. How you been?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you for having me, Joe. I look forward to having this chat.
Yeah, look, thank you, mate. Like, before we get into anything, let's acknowledge. So we met each other at the tennis the other week.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happened that you're a broker and you had a bit of a funny story. So it's always nice to get people on that, you've met organically.
No, it was lovely meeting you. It was a good day at the tennis.
100%, man. So yeah, your story, quite similar to someone I've had on. So you come from more of a retail background, but you've done a bit of everything through your life, it's fair to say, until you obviously landed into finance, and now you're running a business with two of your good mates and now business partners. But talk to me about growing up, mate. I guess, obviously your parents are Turkish background. Like what was life like for you growing up? What did you see in the house?
Yeah, it was pretty basic childhood. I feel blessed to say that. Like no controversy or anything. We had a decent enough home, middle class kind of structure, public schools. So my dad ran like his business from Collingwood. He had a pizza and kebab shop, and I'd basically go to school. Some nights after school, I'd go down with my mum to the shop. She'd help out. I would basically run amok. There was a pool table in the back, so I would challenge patrons to a free game of pool. And yeah, no, it was nice. Kind of just ran through the motions and had that typical, playing football kind of on your lunch break kind of childhood.
So did you grow up, I know you live in Doncaster now. Did you grow up in Doncaster? Yeah.
Always grew up in the eastern suburbs. So yeah, Doncaster, Templestowe kind of area. And then, yeah, I'd spend some evenings in Collingwood, had a few friends there that like lived in that neighborhood. Being a big Collingwood fan as well, kind of fit our lifestyle. Yeah, no, it was nice kind of bouncing between the two. They're a little bit contrasting. They're only 20 minutes away from each other, but very contrasting kind of neighborhoods.
Yeah, one of them's outer suburban, one of them's like inner city.
Inner city, prior to the gentrification, a lot of kind of addicts, and it wasn't as safe back then, like 20 years ago. It was interesting. You'd see some interesting things back in Collingwood in the early 2000s.
Yeah. And your parents, so did they grow up here? Did they move here when they were a bit younger? What's the story there?
My dad moved in the 70s, I believe. So he came in the 70s, and my mum, he went back to Turkey for like a year or two. And my mum met my mum, brought her down here, and I had my brother soon after. It was like a month after they had moved. I think they bribed the doctor when she was like heavily pregnant. I think the doctor actually thought she was flying to Austria, and that's why he approved it. And then my brother, who's now 40, was born. They were in Collingwood at the time, and I came about 10 years later in the cushiony eastern suburbs.
Yeah, nice, man. And so you grew up playing soccer, or as I would call it, football, real football. Who's your team now?
I would not too seriously. I played Australian football in my early teenage years, but basically just kicking the soccer, the football around at lunchtime with friends and everything. Mm-hmm. But now I'm a Scouse fan. I love Liverpool, and I do follow.
On the wall there.
Yeah, I do have one on the wall there. And in Turkey, there's a few teams going around. There's Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, Beşiktaş. I find it hard to choose my teams in the second division. I don't know Demirspor, where my family's from. Just keep it simple with a second division team there.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think like there's a lot of good teams in Turkey. I told you when we spoke, like Fenerbahce was always one that I liked because we've had a few players from Manchester United go there.
Yeah.
Well, same with Galatasaray and Beşiktaş, to be honest.
No, they're big clubs. I'd love to be able to go to the Istanbul derbies. The atmosphere looks insane, so that would be a bucket list item if I can go one day.
Yeah, I'd like to do it. There's also, I've had a few mates that have gone to Argentina as well and watched Boca and I think it's Rosario.
Yeah,
like those derbies look absolutely mad. Yeah,
look dangerously mad. Like I'd be scared to go.
Yeah, I got another mate as well in Sydney. He's Serbian background, and his I think it's Belgrade, Red Star Belgrade and Partizan Belgrade. That's meant to be another one of them derbies that's like, it's next level, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's sport. There's something special about sport. Like I go to a lot of Collingwood games. There's something tribal and very kind of almost in your roots, like opposed to guess like going to war. It's like you kind of go into war on a friendly level against like someone who's representing another patch of dirt. There's something tribal about that gets me excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's like, and you obviously, without turning it too much into a sport podcast, we
Mm.
had a good chat at the tennis, and you give me a lot of knowledge on the AFL that I had no idea about, where the teams
Yeah,
come from, the origins, like, Collingwood obviously representing the working class, like the Baggers representing the police, like,
yeah, it's deep. It's deep. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't want to get into too much of a sport podcast. I feel like we could talk about it for a little bit, but it's deeper than what people realize.
yeah. But thanks for sharing that with me. It was good to
Yeah,
know, like, where it's coming from.
it's very interesting.
So retail is pretty much what you did up until you got into finance. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. In my early 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. So talk to me about where you was working, what you was doing. Like, was it a few different places?
Yeah, so it was whilst I was studying. So I was studying
Mm-hmm.
criminology at Deakin, and was working hospitality, I suppose, from like the post high school age to till early 20s. And then this shift to retail I found so much easier. So took took it up. Was working at Glue Store in the city. So fairly cushy job, mate, to be honest. Would do that, and also had a night job at Coles, which I actually loved. I loved that job, just because it was very to myself, not having to interact with too many clients, kind of night hours, and I'd listen to podcasts and everything. I was free to do so. So found that very peaceful, and I feel like a lot of my customer service skills did come from hospitality. Just as a waiter, you have to have a smile on your face, and you're talking to people, and same in retail, you're just serving people, and it translates well into what I do now, because a lot of my job is just talking to people.
Yeah. And I think it's deeper than that as well, right? Like you realize in a customer service, sales, whatever it is,
Mm.
like that early client facing role, that people always want a bespoke and unique experience. Like, you quickly realize one size doesn't fit all, right? And you have to, it teaches you to pivot and
No,
adapt very, very well.
for sure. Like, I would say it's almost 80% at least the front facing roles. Not so much the loan processing, everything like that, but as a broker, job primarily is to speak to people on the phones, have those coffees, have those Zooms. 80% of it is just being able to interact, having them like you, having them trust you. And don't get me wrong, it is very important to know what you're talking about and kind of know the products that, I'm not going to say selling, but offering.
Hmm.
That it almost comes secondary. You have to know it, but first and foremost, it's being able to have those conversations.
And talk to me about your criminology degree as well. Is that like an early passion? Is that something you did as a time filler? Like, how did that come about?
Oh, it was interesting. I don't know. I felt like I had to do something at university after school. I suppose I was a bit lost, and just didn't know what was the next step. I'd always kind of been interested in being a detective, so I thought criminology seems to fit well, and I got stuck into it. Did my degree, and finished that in, it was like late 2019. By the time I got my, finished my courses and all the graduation and stuff, just before COVID. It was just funny timing. So I found it very difficult. Never got a job, like not a job, never got a job interview. So I think I applied at hundreds of roles, like on Seek and everything, and in the justice sector, and just never got a single interview from it. So that was a little bit disheartening. But yeah, no, it was interesting. It was interesting because I never needed it. Like, I could have gone through my life and not had it, and it wouldn't have made a difference in my career.
I think I can say the same for mine
Yeah,
as well, to be honest. Like, it
yeah,
gave me really good foundational knowledge.
yeah.
I feel like your challenge was probably that you were maybe competing against people who'd graduated from a law degree as well, right? Is that fair to say, that were on the pathway to be lawyers? Is that sort of how it?
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of them did study the same kind of thing. It kind of did intertwine, and they did obviously need to have that understanding. I think they were mandatory like units for them to do. But even just entry level positions in like courts and everything, that like transcribers, things like that, I never got a single interview. Applied at hundreds of roles. So it was funny. I think it works out for the best, to be honest. Like, I'm very, looking back now that I'm 30, I'm very glad that I didn't get into that role, because I don't know where my life would be right now, but I'm very happy doing what I do.
Yeah, it's crazy how long ago COVID was, and because I'm the
Mm,
similar age to you, I'm turning 30 in August. Like, it's mad how significant that period of time has been in our lives, you know what I mean? And what the journey has actually been like for both of us. So, so yeah, you graduated at probably the worst time you could have graduated, 2019.
Yeah.
COVID's now a thing, and you're in Melbourne, which is, was the worst affected state, worst managed state. What happened then?
What happened then? It was interesting times, wasn't it? So I kept my jobs. It was one of, up until that point in my life, it was honestly the most lucrative time to be like working for me. Reason being, I had the two jobs anyway. One was a grocery store, which had wild demand for workers at the time. Everyone was panic shopping, so got lots of shifts. There was not much else to do, so I was very happy to do it. And at the same time, I was getting, I think it was called JobKeeper back then. So you're getting the $750 a week for not working as well. So it was a time of serious saving for me. And I'd work hard, and that really did set up a lot for life from then until now, to be honest.
When it comes to obviously getting into finance, what was that journey like? What's the origins of it, I guess? Because, you've got OVM now with three business partners, 3 friends, but how did that sort of come about with you guys?
Yeah, so it all happened so fast. Like, it's so wild thinking about it now, but it all happened, like, it felt like snap of the fingers, and I had a company. Like, I wasn't in the 6 to 8 months prior to, founding OVM, I wasn't even in the industry. So what happened was I had lost my Coles job because I didn't want to take the COVID vaccine. I was very, very against that, and kind of stood by my principles. And if I had to lose my job, I had to lose my job. It was what it was. And I kind of just got odd jobs, here and there. I did some plastering. I did some demolition, just like trade jobs. Legally, I wasn't legally allowed to work back in those days. Beggars couldn't be choosers. I did what I had to do to get by. One of my mates, Will, who's now my business partner, he was working in finance back then, and he gave me a phone call saying his boss was hiring, and he wasn't too fussy about all the vaccine stuff back then. So, I took it, just hit the floor running with that. I was doing what I was doing. It was, the pay wasn't very good, the unhealthy, all the toxins and everything that you're breathing in. It was very demanding, very physical job. So yeah, took that step. I was always good at basic math, not like the algebra and the Pythagoras theorem and all that stuff, but just very basic
math. The stuff that you don't really need.
The stuff you don't really need was not for me, but the basic stuff, which is what you need in finance, it's really not that complicated. I was always really good at it, so at least I had that, and took the interview, did well in the interview, got hired. He actually asked me, the only time I've ever needed my uni degree was, he did ask me if I went to uni, and I did say yes, and he just took my word for it, and I was like, do you want to see my degree? I got it here. Like, if you want to see it, it's like, no, it's all good. I was like, okay, cool, 30 grand in debt for nothing, but all good. And yeah, then got the job, and I was in finance.
The trick with the debt is move to a different country and they can't chase you then. Hopefully student loans UK are not listening to this.
Yeah, I don't know. Australia seems to be on it, so I think it'd be tough.
Yeah, that's another conversation for another time. But I think education should be free, mate. If you want to do it, we shouldn't be paying to learn, especially considering we could just buy the books if we really wanted to.
Different, probably a different day topic. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. All right, so you started off in like a CSM, CRM role effectively. You're speaking to clients at the front end, pre-qualifying just to make sure that they fit within the niche of the business and if it's a customer you'd like to work with. Are you also doing anything, I guess, post-app through to settlement work as well? Is that how you kind of learn?
No, we had, I suppose, different departments. I was very much like just at the front of the gate, would kind of ask a question, see where they're at, see if they want to proceed, see how we can help them, and then pass them on to the right people. In very early days, that initial first of a phone call, hey, this is Azem, how are you going? To then the qualified brokers at the time would then take them, and they'd have their own system with their own offshore loan processes, and they would kind of sort that part of the process out. But no, I was just that very early level kind of days guy back then.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what was that journey like from learning that to becoming a fully fledged broker? Was it pretty much a trial by fire?
It was necessary. It did kind of give me a good base level idea of how the system works. I didn't have much of an idea until I was a broker about what comes after, like the lender selection and which banks have the best policies for which clients. It was just very much like a broad, like, oh, your stamp duty should cost this, your deposit, we can do this for you. LMI, you're exempt, or it's going to cost you X. It was very kind of foundational, but it's important. You need the foundations to kind of expand and understand the more complex side of brokering.
Yeah. And it's one of them, I think, right? Like, if there's a deal there, the deal gets done because there's enough people in the process to make it happen.
Mm.
But that's not to say you don't need to have that foundational work as well.
For sure. For sure.
And that's why that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because there's a lot of really, really solid brokers out there, phenomenal brokers that have all come from very diverse backgrounds. You don't have to be from finance. It's about your people skills. It's about your tenacity, man. Like, that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah. You can learn on the job. It's just how comfortable are you in front of people. That's the main crux of what we do.
Now, leaning into that, I've got a note here that says, like, multiple people have described you as somebody who never gives up. Talk to me about that. Like, what does that look like translated to working deals and stuff like that?
That's nice of them to say. Look, for me, I always give time to people, whether I understand them and they have a very little chance of entering the property market. I still like to give them my time. I like to give value to people regardless of what I get in return. And that's just how I treat every client. So they always come to me. If it's not a deal today, it could be a deal in 6 months, 12 months, 3 years. Having that kind of rollover now, once I've had a few years in the industry, I do notice that people I've spoken to in late 2022 have reached out to me and we get that ball rolling. That's just kind of give with nothing expected in return has been my motto. And when it comes to never giving up, it's hard to take a no for an answer, especially like a client comes to me and they've given us a nod of like, yeah, you're our guy. You're the guy we trust. We've come to you. We want to support your business. I take that very personally. Like, I want to make them proud that they chose us as their brokers. So that's just where that comes from. Leave no stone unturned kind of thing. If it's not going to work out, we have an idea from the beginning, and we have those conversations at the start to not let anyone down, and we can still try from there. And doesn't hurt to try sometimes, but it's just about making them proud that they chose us to represent them, and that's something we take very personally, and we want to put our best foot forward.
Yeah, I like that, man, because there's obviously actions and things that you can put in place for that person, right? Just because they're not going to get what they need right now, you can still give them a game plan to go away with and work on it. They leave with value and they come back for, you know what I mean? For that reason.
You give them a roadmap, they have something to work towards, and that gives them hope, maybe makes them work a little bit harder. And who knows, they might have a cousin or a friend or a sister that tells them that they want to buy in 6 months. They remember they had a conversation with us, and that we did everything we could and gave them some valuable insight, and they're happy to give them my number. So what comes around goes around in this industry, and it's very, very rewarding to see that happen once you've been here for a few years.
So would you say for OVM, your biggest lead gen is referrals and return customers that you'll get from giving out that value?
Absolutely. People buying their first homes through us, and we are young for the industries. When we do work with young clients, we're kind of growing with them. They're getting their second, their third property, refinancing onto lower rates if they weren't eligible for the best rates on day one. They're referring their friends, and it just snowballs from there. So their friends and family and know that we're good at what we do. We get their business, and they let them know that they might have friends and family, and it just grows from there. So it's been really rewarding, and it's an industry that compounds quite quick, probably faster than others with trails and referrals. So no, it's been good.
Yeah, nice, man. I've noticed Will's getting quite active on socials as well in terms of delivering that value. Like, is this something that's part of your wider business strategy, or is that something he's doing himself at the moment?
Something he's doing himself at the moment. I'm very supportive of him, and he's doing very well. So he's kind of pumping me up to get into it, and I've been doing some research, and it does seem to be a very good strategy for brokers to put themselves out there. We live in 2026, so a lot of people are glued to their phones, and it's a great way of funneling business into your companies. It's something on the cards for 2026 for myself as well. So Will's been smashing it, and it might be putting myself out there.
Yeah, and it's very useful, mate, because even if you're putting out only the basics, you don't realize how many people don't even know the basics.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's the reality of it.
yeah, so again, no stone unturned, and we're eager to expand our operations in 2026.
Yeah, 100%, man. And what does that look like? I always like to kind of push towards the end of the podcast with what does that growth look like for you guys?
That's a good question. We're looking at, again, socials. We think that's
Mm-hmm.
probably the next step for us to grow and just put our name out there and allow people to see us. And it's just, we're still quite a young company. I think it's been 2023? It's been about 3 years now. So, first year, it's just foundations. You build upon it. First year, it's not very, you're not making too much money. You're getting by, and it just feels like ever since we've just been building that foundation and getting our company stronger to where we want to be. So it's just that linear progression, building up your trails, getting it to a place where even just supporting your day-to-day operations, once the trails covers that, it's such a big milestone. So just to keep going, day by day, week by week, month by month, and see where we are in a few weeks and months, and just grow from there.
Yeah, I think people don't. I think people only see what gets pushed and is put out there a lot, and what they might see is new broker comes into the industry and writes 100 million his first year, right? And everyone goes, "Shit, why can't I do that?" Wow, but why can't I do that, right? And the reality is, for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, it's not as easy as that. And they become quite jaded early on. But it's good to know that you guys respect that it is a process, and
Absolutely,
it's the trail compounds, but so does the thing
and
as a
that way.
broker, right? You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, it's been good to see. We're a lot more positive than we were 24 months ago and when we started. So going in the right direction, and we'll see where that takes us.
Yeah, fantastic, man. Give me a bit of a plug on the business, obviously, because it's not just you in it. There's two other guys, Will and Jacob. Or is it Jacob? Is it Jacob?
Jacob,
It's
yeah,
Jacob, yeah.
Jacob,
He's
yeah,
the Dutch.
yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about the relationship there with you guys. Like, I know there's a really good story behind it.
Yeah, so we were all working together at the prior company. Will obviously vouch for me, and I got the interview that way. Jakob was already working there by the time I was there, so that's how we all met. In the same kind of office, we would have laughs, and we all lived kind of close together as well, so we'd carpool to work. And yeah, that's how it started. We weren't the biggest fan of the processes and the operations of the company we were at the time. So carpooling as a even as an employee broker, you understand kind of how much money you bring into the business, how lucrative it is, how trails work. So I think one day, I can't remember who brought it up first, but it was brought up in the car, almost as a joke, laugh it off. And then the next day in the car, you talk about it a little bit more. And in a couple of weeks from then, it's like all we were talking about on the ride there and on the way back. It was a funny story, and we kind of just took it more seriously from there. Started picking out dates, when to quit, when to start, what systems we're going to use, which aggregator we're going to use, which accountant, everything. Like there's so much that goes into it. So we'll just talk about it, and it just fruitioned one step at a time. And before you know it, you're writing loans for yourself. So it was it was good days.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's an entrepreneurial industry at the end of the day, right? And like, it's hard for a lot of people going out there and starting it themselves. So a lot do. 3 people in a car, it's like that old saying: if you spend the day in the pub, you're gonna have a beer. Like that. That's what it's like. It was always gonna happen. You know what I mean? It was it was just a natural thing.
Yeah, maybe it was fate. But yeah, no, it was one of those things where if we weren't to do it now, we're in our late 20s at the time and don't have mortgages at that point. We don't have kids. So it was, if not now, when? It's the best time of our lives to take a risk. And yeah, we did, and it's paid off so far. So I'm very happy to look back on that decision.
Good to hear that, man. And well, look, I just want to say it was a pleasure having you on here, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Good to get to know you guys as well. Like it's always nice to meet people that are doing something adjacent to me and similar age, kind of same mindset. Like, it's nice to see, man. So congrats on building the business this way.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me, Joe.
I can't wait to see you guys grow this year, whatever that looks like. You know what I mean? That's the good thing, I think, about broking, is that you can skin it however you want. You can build a team offshore. You can bring people onshore. Like,
absolutely.
As young men, you probably want to work as hard as you can for as long as you can, right? So yeah. But mate, Azem, thank you very much, mate. I look forward to chatting in the future. All right.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you around. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Bye.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.